Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Today I'll be reviewing one of my students' games. And yeah, let's get into it. You'll see that the opening is maybe a little AI inspired. Invades my 3-3 point. We play a very common Joseki. I invade his 3-3 point. We play another very common Joseki. He invades my 3-3 point. And we play a very common Joseki. And I bet you can guess my next move. I take the next, or the last 3-3 point. So this is actually, you'll see this in pro games sometimes. So it's not just us messing around. Yeah. And because I know my student has seen a lot of the AI or the 3-3 variations, I wanted to expose him to more of them. So I actually did this variation. Now, if black can push and cut. If black pushes and cuts on this side, you always just take. And it's the same result as if black double haned like this. The exact same result. And then took the corner. Like so. Now, going back to the game variation. If black cuts on this side, you still capture. Oops, black wouldn't do that. You still capture. And notice black is unable to capture this white stone in a ladder because of these white stones here. So black would need to extend. And at this point, white can go anywhere white wants. So, I don't know, let's say white does this. Now, it might look like black can threaten white by going here. But this is actually not big because even though black can threaten to kill like this, it would still be a ko. And after this, white actually doesn't even need to play the ko. And you can see white has gotten how many moves? 1, 2, 3 moves elsewhere, and it's still a ko. So this is quite efficient for white, this is quite inefficient for black to try to keep harassing this corner. Same thing if black does this. Hane back. You can see white can just give it up. It's not that big. Because white to live is just 2 points and black to kill, it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. It's only 16 points. And in the opening, a 16-point move that took like 3 moves to play, it's like on average a 5-point move every time. So yeah, so this is why. So one, if you're going to play this jump, you have to have the ladder here. And since I did, that's why I played it. So usually black will play here. And in this case, if black cuts here, you actually need to connect. You can't capture this stone. And the reason why is it's very similar to a variation we just looked at. But it's as if black did the double hane like this. Later, it's as if black could go here and white turned or made this move as opposed to this move. So you can see it's inefficient that way. So you can see like this. You can see this move is in a very bad spot. Very bad spot. In the normal 3-3 double hane variation, white gets a ponuki, but in this shape, white gets a less efficient capturing shape. So white actually needs to connect here. And black doesn't crawl. This would just be good for white. So black then hits the nose. If white comes up, then black can turn or extend, and then you can see white's cut off. So white comes down, black covers, then white will turn, and then black can play a move like this. So this is Joseki in the upper left. Black doesn't extend because it's not sente. So black got his sente move, so black just answers. So this is one variation. or another variation, I should say. Also, white can play this way. Now at this point, black can ignore. And even though white can do this, it's just fine. Black actually gets sente again after this exchange. But black can also play this move. This move is not sente though. So white could do whatever. But this move would then be sente. And you can see black's shape here is pretty good. So if black wants to, black can play here. Black could play in a more direct way by going here. It would force white to connect, and then black can extend. But playing here directly actually gives white the choice of Atarying here. If black connects, when white connects, it's pretty good for white. So black can Atari through. So it would be a trade. Black would get the corner, white would get influence on the upper side. So that's why only play this one. One if you want sente. But if you don't mind sente and you don't want to give white the upper side, play this one. Black could also do it this way, but it takes away a liberty from the outside. So it's a little vulgar because you can make this push anytime. So yeah, those are the variations for this jump. Yeah. The game though, my opponent just took here. Which one? I'm not sure of why he played low. You have a moyo. Or you have two walls facing each other. Why doesn't black want to play, or black needs to play on the fourth line? Yeah. And yes, in the upper left you can also ignore. And the honte move for white is to play here. Oh, that's not the game variation. Honte move is to play here. Again, at this point, black should just extend and then play here. And again, black gets sente again, so black can go wherever black wants. After this, though, this is not necessarily sente. White can go elsewhere. And again, you can see it's the same variation as black going here or here. So, but black definitely should come here. This has to be the next move. But in the game, black extended here, which is a big move, but it's not important because black has a moyo forming on the left side, and white has a potential moyo forming on the upper side. So when black extends here, and white gets this move, you can see how much it grows white's top, but threatens to invade later, right? These three stones in the upper left for black are pretty weak. So this is wrong direction. We can see, let's say black does this. One, this is sente, to just go here. But let's say it's not even sente. Or not sente, but it's forceful. White can ignore though. When white plays here, notice it does not threaten these stones here. But when white plays here, it threatens these stones here. So there is a big difference that these stones are weaker than these stones. I think black was maybe trying to put more pressure on these stones. Right? Try to make sure there's no connection between the bottom left white stones and the bottom right white stones. But these stones are very light. It's hard to attack these three stones. And then black one space jumps, which feels pretty slow. Right? If black had played here, we do the same thing in the game. I'm not sure. Would black add a move here? I don't think black would add a move here. I think black would go elsewhere. Because even though these three stones in the upper left are not settled, they're very light because they're basically as light as these stones here. Maybe a little weaker, but they can make the shape called the scorpion, if you know what the scorpion is. And I'll get into that shape later. But whenever you have these three stones here, like here, or in the upper right or lower right, they're very light. It's hard to attack these. But since black played low, black felt the need to add a stone after white played here. So not only did white get to expand white's moyo on the upper side, he did it in sente, because now white can go wherever white wants. So then I ended up protecting the bottom anyways. So these exchanges here didn't do black much. Black then plays diagonal, which I'm not sure why black played this move. When you play this move, you're kind of saying, okay, I want to build the right side, but the right side is very low. So it's actually very hard to build the right side. Whereas white's top, when white comes on top, you can see how much bigger white's area gets when black plays this move. So black should really just jump in. Jump in while white doesn't have strength here. And it's actually, black has so much options here. Let's say white just tries to cap. Well, black can do this. And then just like do that. And it's actually very hard to kill black. Or even attack black. And yeah, black has many choices of spots. Maybe this one too. But regardless, this move is again wrong direction. Maybe black was confident he could jump in after these moves, but you can see after this, white's building the top so efficiently. That's the thing. So efficient the way white's playing. Black's kind of giving white what white wants. And here we see another Joseki mistake by black. By connecting. So the connection is not good. So black needs to extend. When black because what black is saying is black's afraid of this cut. That's why he went here. But obviously this cut doesn't work. So you only connect solidly when you're afraid of the cut. 99% of the time. But you can see how much this matters point-wise and efficiency-wise. The black really doesn't want to Atari this because one, white can play in a way that just gives up the stone. And you can see white actually builds, again, just black captured one stone and white solidified his top even more. White could also consider playing here, and if black tries to cut through, white can cut through here. In this case, though, I think this wouldn't be so good because white is emphasizing the top so much. But in some cases, white can do that. In this case, though, white would just give it up. Like this. Maybe connect solidly. Black can't really cut from this side because one, he can't extend here because this one stone would get isolated very quickly. And if black tries to play from this side, white can jump across here. Yeah, it's actually kind of tricky for black. Black's unable to. After this move, it's kind of tricky. Because if black connects, white's able to extend. Yeah, black goes there, then white turns. And then maybe Hane's like, you can see it's what white wants. White's then going to be able to use this thickness to attack these two stones. So that's why in most cases black just extends. Here, after this, white will play here, and black just fixes. Black doesn't want to Atari here, because he loses the option to cut here later. Whereas if you play here, notice there's still a cut here. Now at this point, white actually leaves this, even though there is a cut, because if white connects and black extends, white's able to, one, white can Hane directly, and we can see Atari. This would be a ko. Yeah, for these stones here. The issue, if you want to call it an issue, with this ko, is black doesn't need to fill the ko like this. Black can actually win the ko by going here. Notice if white connects, black's able to just connect here after black plays S18. So black actually wins the ko by going here, which has pretty good endgame. So if white doesn't want to play the ko, white can just Hane and then connect. And you can see if black ignores, white's able to Hane. Black cuts, white's able to capture. If black goes here, white can just Atari. Atari, which could be a ko. So white can actually just hane here. And you can see black's unable to cut here because it's a self-Atari. So that's why it's very timing based to go here. Sometimes you'll see black descend so that if white protects, black's then able to cut. And you can see none of those things work in the upper right. Whereas if white protects somehow, don't know how, later black's able to come in the upper side. So this is what I expected, but black playing here. Oh, one more thing. After this, let's say white doesn't like any of those variations. White can actually just Atari. And if black takes, white can block. You might be like, well, black just captured a bunch of stones and points. True, but you can see white's gain, if it's good enough on the upper side, is humongous. You can see these moves are actually solidifying white on the top. So sometimes white will actually just give up this cutting stone. Especially since black already spent a move here. The value of this cutting stone has gone way down. So lots of variations. So it's actually probably good to, if you don't know all of them, to review them in this video using like a separate board or something, because nowadays you need to know these things. Because when black goes here, I just was like, okay, I'll extend then. And again, black's unable to Atari here because I'll just counter Atari on this side, and again, not good shape for black. If black extends, I'll just connect, and these two stones are in a lot of danger. If black goes this way, same thing, it'll be the ko variation. Yep. And then now, after black makes white super strong on the upper side, black chooses to invade here. Which, again, these three stones are very difficult to attack. And I'll show that now. I'm going to add a bunch of white stones elsewhere on the board. So white can ignore 2 more times still, and still be able to make light shape. White can hane in the corner and then make this tiger's mouth. And this is what a strong amateur named Inseong Huang, he calls this the scorpion. Because if, I think how he put it was, if there's a scorpion on a table, how would you just try to attack it? Like, how would you try to pick it up? It's hard. Yeah, it's actually pretty hard to attack this shape. If black Ataris, white's then able to give up this 1 stone, but now connect here. Even without L4, white would usually play this move after an Atari. If black tries to prevent that connection, this hane in the corner is huge. And then white can still come out. So these stones here are not worth a lot, or it's hard to kill these. So I don't know what black's direction of play is very strange this game. And I know he knows the scorpion, so I don't know why he tried to attack this. Plus, white only has prospects for points right here. So really, white's, if we were to count the game, white would only get like 6 points here, 4 points, something very small, because it's open on the bottom still. So this move's very rushed too. Black really just needs to come into the top, because when black went here, gave me the opportunity to, one, I make this exchange, see how black answers. Black plays there, and then I peeped. So black had initiative, but now all of a sudden white's able to play where white wants, because black's trying to attack this very solid foundation. And then black goes here. So again, black has this moyo on the left side. Black needs to be thinking aggressively. Sure, white can cut, but then you can come back. And you can see now black's going to be able to make points on the left while attacking these 2 stones, if white were to continue with them. by just going here, I didn't do this, but if I just like came back here, you can see these 3 stones are pretty weak. Black would be forced to connect. Black had a moyo on the left side, but black is not using it at all to make a lot of points or to attack anything. So it'd be an easy win for white at this point. So whenever you have a moyo, you have to think aggressively. Like maybe black can go here. You know, maybe black, I think just go here is easy enough. But black should think to attack this on a grand scale. Not to be thinking defensively like playing here. This is the wrong idea with a moyo. Sure, white might be able to go here too, but you just keep attacking. Again, the way black is playing, black is giving white everything white wants. So black is a pretty generous player. And now, since I know he's trying to make points on the left side here, or in this bottom left area right here, that's why my next move is attaching here. Again, when your opponent has a moyo, and they have a 1 space jump in the moyo, always look to attach on the 3rd line stone. There's so much aji here. Yeah, so the way black plays, I don't think is that good. Black pincered. I don't like this move. At least how black followed it up. So I think black should just hane. If white extends, descend. So you can see black is making quite a bit of points here. If white turns, then black just runs out. If white continues here, notice black's going to be able to reduce white's area. That reducing white's area on the top is the profit from attacking. Profit doesn't just mean making points elsewhere or killing something. The profit can be getting rid of your opponent's area. So yeah, black can play here, and it's actually kind of tricky for white. And it doesn't matter if white does this. Black can still actually just poke right through. And if white just gives up those stones, well then it's a good exchange here. Or black's solid on the left side now. So by going here, this gives white the opportunity to run out and to make a base. So the game actually attach once. If black ignores, I'm able to cut, and if black jumps here, I'm able to hane. Black double hanes, I can Atari, and then capture the 3 stones. So this move is forcing. So all my last moves were doing is once black played here, I'm like, okay, he really wants this area, so will you let me get more of it? Right? If black ignored, I would be able to hane and get rid of it. Same thing. Oh, you're going to let me come into your area even more? So, yeah, black goes here. I think black had the chance to maybe connect here. But I'm not sure. Maybe this move is fine. But you can see how overconcentrated black's shape is, right? If we go back to even, just say here, black's moyo, you know, let's say black didn't go there and black went like here. Black had potential to make a lot of points on in this moyo. Right? But all of a sudden, after just a few white moves, 1 white move, 2 white moves, 3 white moves, black's giant moyo has been reduced down to 4th line territory in only 1 section of it, which is not good. So black had to feel a sour taste here. And he's getting cut off in the upper left, so even more dangerous. So I play here, I bump, and again, black should be thinking aggressively. Black just extends up, and I get to attach. So now it's going to be hard to keep white in. Like, I think black should think about going here. If white hanes, this move's peeping. And again, white's shape is not good, and black is getting profit from reducing white's upper side. If white were to run out, right, like this. Sure, white might capture 1 stone, but you can see black's getting a ton of profit on the upper side. And white's still not alive. So I think black should really peep here. This is a very good move. By going here, obviously white attaches. And then black jumps. Black's now realizing, oh, I'm getting surrounded. So white hanes. Now white hanes. And then black extends. And again, I think black should stand up here. If white jumps or plays a bamboo joint, black jumps. Because sure, white can play here, but white doesn't gain that much. White still doesn't have two eyes. And again, black is spending so many moves. Right? Like here, black would have maybe like 5 points here. But he's able to reduce white's area by a lot. Whereas when black goes here, black's area, you know, this move's probably sente then, is now 8 points. So there's not a lot of points there is what I'm trying to say. So I think black needs to come up here. So again, black's giving white everything white wants. Because now white has an eye on the side. White's over-concentrated black on the left side. And white cut off black on the upper left side. So I just extend up. And this is... I'm going to go on a little rant here. I'm sure my student has heard this one before, but this move might seem like so trivial. Like, I don't know why you're going so crazy about this one move, but this is the kind of move that if you keep playing as a double-digit Q, single-digit Q, even a low-down player, you're not going to get better. So this move is a peep, right? So the point of a peep is to gain information about something. So for example, this move here is a peep. It's peeping at this cutting point. If black just connects, now I know black, one, has connected to stones, but this means later I can come in. And I can jump out, so I'm actually gaining information by playing here. Plus, there are no negative effects of this move, right? Potentially, black can go here and you can say, well, black is gaining a lot of points, but it's actually pretty hard to do anything with this group or with this stone. But black played here, so I gained information that 1, I can maybe cut later, or 2, I can maybe force black to connect later, and 3, I can reduce black even more on the left side. So this move has given me information, and that's what you want from peeps. So never just peep just to peep. So let's look back at black's move. So 1, you also peep if there's a direct effect on something. So 1, peep if you're trying to gain information, or 2, peep if you're trying to gain something, like reduce eye space, or gain eye space, or destroy your opponent's shape, etc., etc. So does white have any eyes here? Nope. Does black gain anything from playing here? Nope. And you can even see these 2 black stones have 5 liberties. But when black pushes and white connects, they actually still have 5 liberties. So this move actually doesn't help at all. And you'll see it actually hurts black. And it actually comes up right now. Black jumps, I extend, covers, and then I can jump here. So of course, what if black pushes and cuts? Black pushes and cuts, I'm able to actually push here. Black's unable to block because I can cut. So black needs to extend here. But this move is a Natari on these 2 stones. So if black connects, I'm actually still able to cut. So black would need to connect here. And then I can capture here. And because I can capture here, I can then actually play out this way. And play like this. Maybe just connect. So now I have Miai life of living on the inside or cutting through black. So you can see this is a disaster for black. So black's unable to push and cut. But let's say black just jumped. And I extend here and then try my same exact move in the game. Well, notice if black tries to push and cut now, when I play the same move that I would in the game, black's actually able to Atari and then connect. And then connect here. So you can see how much Aji black loses by playing this push. So you can see that this move allows me to jump here. If he didn't make that move, I would have to play something else. I have to be a little more creative, right? I might have to just only jump here, right? Something. So because black pushed here, it actually helped white a lot. So only don't peep just to peep. You know, sometimes players just like to peep because it feels forcing and yada yada yada. But only peep if one, you want to get answers, like you're probing your opponent. How are they going to answer? Two, if it destroys like your opponent's shape or their eye shape or something, right? Or three, it helps you. But you know, unlike this peep that I did here, black had like 5 different ways to answer this. But in this one, like it's obvious why it's gonna connect. There's no other move, so it's like, why play it? It's a co-thread even, right? So don't play these peeps. Don't peep just to peep. If you try to do that in your games, don't peep just to peep, you will get better because you're gonna leave so much more Aji in your games. Bad Aji for your opponent, I should say. Jump, so I push and then can jump here. And black pushes here. And peeps, that's good. And then black turns here. Doesn't this feel so slow? Like, how many points is black gaining by playing here? Not a lot. Not a lot. And just a few more. So one, this move does make it so black can push and cut now, so I have to protect. And this move might look weird, but it's kind of like a forceful way to fix my cut. Black Hanes and then Ataris, and you can see my cut is miraculously fixed, and black now has cuts. Some people might think just a peep, and while it, you know, locally does the same thing, it still leaves some weakness in white's shape later. Even if white plays lightly like this, later black can still look at white's shape here. White's shape isn't perfect, but by attaching, it's kind of forcing. It's a sente way to make a connection here. Yes. So always look for sente. And again, like this kind of move, it does protect the cut, but it's gote. So always look for sente moves. Atari, black needs to fix, and then I can come back and protect the upper side. So this fight has kind of calmed down, and we can see how the result is. We'll go back to, I'll probably go back to before I peeped. So black, right now, black invaded. So black is hoping for a response, right? Because you want to control the flow of the game. So black was hoping for white to respond, but black ignored. And look at, or white ignored, and look at black's left side. Peep, and we play the moves from the game. So black had, you know, what is that? Like over 10 lines wide. But let's see. So the result. Black gets sente, so that's something, but maybe black gained 10 points here. Black has a weak group here, and white still was able to get 5th line potential on the upper side. So it's true black did reduce white a little bit, but you can see black's left side has basically been reduced to rubble, which is not good. You can see how inefficient black stones are. So already black is struggling in this game. And again, black attaches here. Like, he's so caught up in getting these points here, but there's not a lot of points here. black attached, and I just jump. So black played this move way back before I even invaded. And I still came back and was able to answer it. So you can see how tempo is everything. Black should maybe come back to this bottom right, but it's still so hard. So jump. And again, he really wants these points. And to be fair, if black goes anywhere, this move is pretty big, right? It forces black white to go. But still, it's gote. So I would still think about going elsewhere. Play here. Again, so slow. Why is black playing so slow? What is black afraid of? White going here? The point difference between these moves... Oops. My mouse wheel is going crazy. Like, it's black's gained like 4 more points. Maybe 3 points. It's so small. And this move forces me to get Tengen. Like... Everything's good for white. Plus, black's actually not alive here. Yeah. Let's say black goes elsewhere, which he does. Actually, it's coming up soon. I cut. He fixes, which is an interesting way to fix, but I guess it does work. I'm not really sure of another move. And then I hane here. And locally, if black ignores, I can cut. And black is forced to Atari this way and go here. But again, this would be gote for white. So it would be like 4 points in gote. Maybe like 5 points in gote. Or 10 points, but it's gote, so half it roughly, and it's a 5-point move. But for black to take, again, black's surrounding so little points. This is almost half of black's stones, right? In this bottom left corner, right? Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 19 stones in the lower left black area. And black has close to that on the rest of the board. So it's so inefficient. You have to think about efficiency. Because now I'm able to peep. So we can see how, you'll see how this move here actually didn't help black. So let's say, so black just connected, but let's say black tries to cut through. White will push through. Or white will hane, like this. If black counter hanes, white will then push through. And if black tries to connect, or prevent white from connecting, you can see after white cuts, white is threatening to cut here, but also this stone's an Atari. And because these two stones are on the board, let's say black does this. After this ko, you can see is putting these stones in Atari. So let's say black goes here, and let's say, I don't know, white plays this ko threat. Black answers. Notice this is an Atari, so if black takes, white can then capture. And then white could capture the tail here, which, again, this would make all of this white points, basically. But on the plus side for black, black is actually alive with no problems. And again, black really can't do anything else. It's just so painful. Like if black goes here, it's actually not an alive shape. But maybe this is still better than what happens in the game. Because when black goes here, I just peep and then go down. And now you can see black does not have 2 eyes all of a sudden. Black hanes, counter hane, and then makes the scorpion. Atari, and then plays a ko. And I will say, my student has had trouble just playing kos because they're scary. But he's gotten better. So that's good. He pushed. He played a real ko threat, which is important. Right. So now, since he played the ko as opposed to just connecting like this, which this would get him 1 eye in gote, which isn't that good. By playing the ko, you can see he's kind of made it so he has better eye space this way. Where does he go though? Oh, he peeps. So he again is trying his best to get something on the bottom, because I kind of brushed over it, but black spent another move here, right here, trying to surround or trying to attack this lower right, but again, it's so hard to attack it. So after I connect, black peeps, I connect, and then he jumps. So again, this feels good, but actually this kind of diagonal shape, like when you peep from here, like what I'm trying to say is, one, I would rather black just come up. When you play this kind of way, it feels like good shape, and it kind of does look pretty good for black, but there's so much agi with like this peep here, this attachment, or this attachment here. Whereas if you just jump, there's less of that agi. So know the merits and the downsides of both, because sometimes they are better than others. But I say, okay, that's 4 stones, and I can connect here anytime or connect up. So I'm just gonna take away your eyes at the top. So now black has 1 eye in the co. No, he has, is that 2 eyes in co? No, just 1 eye in co. So again, maybe black felt like he didn't have time to answer, but answering is pretty big. I actually think because it's still co on the upper side, I should just block. Yeah, I think I should just block. This move might be greedy, because if black's able to live, I'm kind of forcing him to come into my area. Now this move is, again, this is a co-threat. This is a co-threat, so save your co-threats. I think he wanted this move, but he should just play the move. But again, I'm like, well, what's bigger, this bottom right side or the entire top? So I just connect here. Might be a little greedy or confident. Don't know which one, but because it's definitely not the biggest move on the board. Obviously, saving the bottom is bigger, but I'm like, okay, the upper side is just way too big. Black plays down, plays here, so now he's going after the whole side, which again, I think he kind of has to. But this move is so bad. Because one, if black plays on this side, white's able to connect. So black is trying to disconnect white. But there are many ways to disconnect white. So in the game, black can do this, but black can also do this, black can also do this, or black can do this. So one, I don't know why black doesn't hane. If white answers, we can see now black can cut later. And maybe black's afraid of giving white good shape. In that case, black can still just descend, and you can see white is disconnected. By going here, there's no first line follow-ups to take away white's eye space. So what happens in the game? I just hane, I make the scorpion, and again, I was expecting black to go here, and then I might co actually, because I have local co threats here. But regardless, I can just attach here, and you can see I'm all connected. All connected. But in the game, black goes here, so I don't know why he was being like, he could have at this point just gone here, forced me to connect, and then he's, maybe it's not completely captured, but he surrounded this bottom right pretty heavily. Like maybe he plays one more move. Actually, I think this move is better. But you can see he surrounds this. But so this move shows me he's trying to go after the whole thing, which means, okay, he's going to try to attack all of it. But then he played a very mediocre move here, and then he then plays very passively here. Like I can later hane here. So I don't understand black's plan, what his plan here was. Like he went all in by cutting me off on this side as opposed to blocking here. So I would think he would try to go all in and like putting in the most pressure, but then he plays a very slack move. So I don't understand. So now white's just alive. White's just alive. So then he turns back to the upper side. Again, just split black, shoulder hits, And again, black's shape here is actually pretty good. His sequence here. Play here. Hane. Push once, and then Hane back. Extend. Extend. Plays here. Play the empty triangle. Everybody close their eyes. It's to prevent black's good shape here, actually. So that's why I played it. Then he plays here, which is kind of don't understand. Because when I push, even if black can go here, it's just not... yeah. Black can actually play here to make the eye, but it's still pretty difficult. Actually, black can still go down, but you can see it's cost much more because white will then play it this way. Yeah. Whereas if black just goes here, you can see that if black wins the ko, makes a ko threat. Even if I play ko threat to get rid of the eye here, when black connects, you can see he actually is threatening another eye here. At this point, it's a closer game, but white definitely still has a pretty big lead. But it's a respectable game, considering the rank difference. By going here, this is like, what? So I don't know if he just thought they were just the same. It didn't matter what he did, but it does actually matter. Yeah. So I think at this point, when I pushed here, black resigned. Yeah, which is understandable because this ko is worth much more, or it's much harder for black to win this ko. But yeah, a pretty, if you're not used to it, a pretty funny opening. If you haven't watched pro games or AI games, but turned into pretty much a bloodbath actually. We had weak groups scattered around the board. I think for black though, black won. Hopefully he's still looking at josekis because he definitely made some joseki mistakes, which led white to have a lead in the opening. But also playing in such a way to not give your opponent what your opponent wants, right? He kept playing in a way that made it very easy for me. He was also losing tempo and the flow a lot. And these things, especially as you climb the ranks, they become more and more important. So, yeah, I think those are black's takeaways for this game. Yeah, definitely sente versus gote. Yeah, like black, black had a giant moyo on the left side, and then all of a sudden he was trying to make points with it, and it just didn't make a lot of sense. But hopefully the review made sense and that he can take something away from this review, because that's the whole point. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you have any questions about the video, please let me know in the comment section. And yeah, thanks for watching it. I'll see you in the next video.